to the Bensonville Bridge this morning. The Kennedy for up to 30 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower from 390, it's 37 minutes. The Stevenson from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, the trip time, 31 minutes. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our AM 560 Weather Center, our meteorologist Steve Williams.
Partly sunny, beauty of a day. High today 72, clear tonight, low 58. Sunny tomorrow, the high 73. Sunny Thursday, the high at 69. Sunny and breezy on Friday, the high at 75. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
52 degrees at O'Hare. Next news 8:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Tweeted. Everything is tweets these days. Testified last week before the Senate.
Don't pass it, though.
Mm-hmm. And Andy McCabe, the former deputy director who was fired, supposed to testify, but that's gotten delayed. Remember last week, you still have this nagging problem that was reconfirmed by Jim Comey of him saying saying under oath, he never directed anybody to leak information to the press, and Andy McCabe saying Jim Comey directed him to leak information to the press, also under oath. So one of them lied under oath, and that means one of them should be indicted for lying under oath. Yeah. Now his testimony has been delayed. Isn't that interesting?
Until when? After the election?
It is. It's not clear. This from Jonathan Turley. Long said he was willing to answer questions under oath about his controversial actions in the Russia investigation, scheduled to do so on Tuesday, today. Now he has refused. Guess why?
What?
COVID. The infection of 3 senators with COVID-19. However, McCabe also refuses to testify remotely.
Oh, why? Because of COVID or possible technical issues?
He simply says that fairness dictates that he not testify at all. The basis for his refusal to appear remotely is utterly and almost comically absurd, says George Washington law professor Jonathan Turley. Well, if comically and what was it? Comically and transparently and comically absurd, if that was the standard by which you could take someone away, you could impugn someone, then everybody in senior leadership at FBI during the time of Jim Comey, just about everybody, would have been salted away in some undisclosed location long ago. Transparently and comically absurd is the calling card of Jim Comey and Andy McCabe and so many others, including over at the CIA, it would appear. And it seems that it's persisting to some extent as the struggle to get documents to which the Senate is entitled from Christopher Wray continues. This from Ron Johnson and Lindsey Graham to some extent, the complaints about Wray. Not a lot of action taken with respect to holding him to account and to move with all due speed in producing what the oversight body wants produced. Number one, now we hear from Sean Davis at the Federalist, we heard at the end of last week, that Gina Haspel, who was John Brennan's station chief in London during his time as CIA director, is also running interference for document requests from oversight bodies. And so now we have still enemies inside the perimeter of the Trump administration that are Trump appointees not complying with the effort to pull all of the information together and present it in one unified story to the American people to help inform their decision on November 3rd. And for those who suggest that, it would be political at this point for the Durham investigation to be completed or for any decisions about indictments to come down and so forth, well, it would also be political to not do it, wouldn't it? I think we're past the days of the appearances of politics, particularly with respect to those two agencies and with respect to what transpired in 2016 and 2017. But that's me, and I'm a layman. So let's bring in an expert. We're pleased to be joined again by James Fitzgerald. He is a retired FBI special agent and famed criminal profiler from the Unabomber case. He was played by Sam Worthington in the series Manhunt that's on Netflix, which is really good. Worthington
Still
plays
on there, yeah.
Fitzgerald, and Paul Bettany played the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski. He's also, is Fitzgerald, the author of a series of books, A Journey to the Center of the Mind. James Fitzgerald, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Dan and Amy there, it's great to be back. Thanks for having me on again.
Yes, a pleasure. Am I being too hard on the FBI, both Comey's FBI and Wray's FBI at present?
No, I professionally and behaviorally would define it as a S show wrapped up in a clown convention and a bus going downhill fast.
All right, let me write that down.
They're technical terms you and your listeners can use, but no, and I watched Comey's testimony last week, and I'll give him credit for at least showing up and for admitting that there were bureaucratic failures under him, these layers of the onion, so to speak, that he didn't think he had to peel apart or look through. But everything else happening with McCabe and of course Strzok's name can't be left out of this. I think we coined the term on your show a few years ago. Something is a Strzokism when it's clearly a lie, but someone by him, but he's trying to make it sound like it's something that it's not. So we could make that a Comeyism or a McCabeism, and this whole thing is just very, very problematic. And of course, there's now a movie out, a two-parter on Comey rules, and I'm not sure if when you first called, your producer first called me, did you want me to, go over and discuss the actual Comey testimony or what's being also fictitiously relayed in this particular movie? But I know it's going to be Comey we talk about. So
Comey said he would not have certified the surveillance had he known then what he knows now about applications submitted in 2016 and 2014 to eavesdrop on Carter Page. Do you think he should publicly apologize to Carter Page for what he did? Since, I don't know, he was either asleep at the wheel or he just had so much other things going on that wasn't important to him?
Yeah, I mean, how convenient is that if I knew now what I knew then or, vice versa? I mean, it's a very convenient way of explaining away a truly lack of leadership, or perhaps it was very good leadership, but very much agenda-driven and surrounding himself with the same type of people, all residing in an echo chamber of no contrary, or it seems like once or twice some lawyer from somewhere would submit a memo or an email or something, hey, you guys may want to look at this, but then of course no one had any idea what's being talked about. I didn't see that. It seems Comey has a plausible deniability factor. Well, I wasn't told this, I wasn't told that. I also coined a new legal term. I think after all the times I was hearing Comey say, I don't recall, I don't remember, I borrowing from the Latin, it's nolo remembre, and it's just basically, I don't remember anything.
Yes.
Of course, that's convenient for you, senators, who are asking me these very difficult questions and very much questions that could have a criminal liability on me if, in fact, the truth ever came out. And, of course, my cohorts down the line that I personally selected to work under me and work this, what now turns out to be a ruse of an investigation, a hoax of an investigation with this Russian involvement on the part of or of Trump engaging the Russians with anything like this. No one's denying the Russians then and now, as well as the Chinese and other entities are trying to mess with our elections. But in terms of Trump and his team's involvement in any way, shape, or form, that's all, of course, been ruled out. So anything these guys can do now to cover their tracks, they are going to do. And I just hope sooner rather than later this information comes out when the public can really take in what our FBI, and I want to reemphasize here the very top of the FBI, the top, if it's even 1/10 of 1%, and some of the people that work with them, what they did to this country starting in 2016. It's just it's a disgrace, and I just hope it does come out at some point.
Well, your characterization of nolo remembre, Jim Comey's testimony, really is nolo contendere, isn't it? He is essentially pleading guilty without pleading guilty, and the reason is because his deniability is not plausible. It is not plausible for the FBI director overseeing an investigation into a presidential candidate and then the president of the United States to not be apprised of material events and material information, like, for example, the subsource of the Steele dossier and the fact that he was the subject of a 2-year counterintelligence investigation himself by that same FBI. It's just ridiculous to suggest that he doesn't know about that or was so willfully blind that everybody just made sure nobody told him so they could carry on this conspiracy without Jim Comey's knowledge, because he's so pure of heart that they wouldn't want to corrupt Jim Comey, or they knew they couldn't corrupt Jim Comey, so they did this without his knowledge. That is preposterous.
Yeah, and he even being questioned by Senator Blackburn, he even boldly claims he did everything by the book in this investigation. And it came to mind right away. He has one book already out that's apparently selling well, and another book soon to be out. People may want to read those with a different perspective now. If this investigation was done by the book, I don't think his new book was written by the book, and we have to take everything. And I like when she asked him if it was fiction or nonfiction. He very seriously, well, it's a nonfiction, but I have a feeling there's much more fiction in there, or certainly, if not fiction, clear omissions of evidentiary material that didn't quite make it into the pages of his book.
What about Ray? What about Ray and the FBI under Ray now? Is it improving or marginally so?
Well, I'm out of the FBI. I've been out for almost 13 years now.
I know, but you know people.
Yeah, I do, and I certainly know how to read and read between the lines. I do have some problems with his leadership and with his lack of overt and perhaps more aggressive investigating of what's happening here. I get this whole FBI culture thing. I suppose I was a part of it for 20 years, but in no way, shape, or form did that ever cover any sort of illegal or unethical or immoral activity. You still had to do the job in an apolitical sense, and just the facts, ma'am, as Jack Webb would say in Dragnet, and just that's what we put on paper, and that's what we use in court. But there's so much violation that happened before Chris Wray, and now it just seems that information is not forthcoming, and I do have a problem with that. And I wouldn't be surprised if after the election, if President Trump is reelected, you may see a change at the top of the FBI. Wouldn't be for criminal purposes, whatever, and it wouldn't be quite under the auspices that Comey was fired. But I think you may see someone put in there with a bit more of an aggressive approach to what's happened in the last 4 to 5 years now, if not even longer. There's an article that broke today in the American Thinker about where Comey and Mueller have all kinds of problems with the Clinton Foundation and what they've let go since the early 2000s. So so much of this is just under the surface that I know we're just chomping at the bit to get our hands wrapped around it and bring some kind of justice. This 2-tiered justice system we kept hearing about in the hearing, we need to get that out of the way, make it back to one, and hold these people responsible.
Well, it sounds like you know the person who they may replace Ray with.
I don't. And nothing official. I do talk among my colleagues of all different ilk and persuasions, and in many ways we feel the same way. And I'm not saying, again, Chris Wray is doing anything illegal or necessarily unethical per se, but I just don't think he is taking this to the next level where it should be. And a few of us have kicked around some ideas of former high-ranking FBI officials that some are in the public sphere right now, and we think, boy, wouldn't that guy be a good new FBI director? So
like
we'll
the guy
see. And I'm not officially
like the guy who caught the Unabomber.
No. They couldn't pay me enough to do that job. There'd be so many. It would be such a cleaning of the house if that happened. Certainly at the top, that it would cause too much
Well,
paperwork for the other bureaucrats.
I got to tell you, I mean, you may have just won yourself the job, because it seems to me that if Trump wins re-election, that's what absolutely has to happen. When you have people like Devin Nunes sort of openly questioning the future existence of the FBI and CIA, I know those agencies aren't going to go away. That doesn't happen fast like that, and perhaps it shouldn't. But when he's making a statement like that, that says we have a to borrow the word of 2020 systemic problem in FBI and CIA, and there needs to be some real rethinking about how those agencies operate.
But Dan, let me bring up real quick. We talked about the negative side. In the last month or so, 2 agents' names have surfaced. On board, still working agents. One is a New York agent where I worked for 7 years, named John Robertson. He's the one that basically, when everybody was poo-pooing the Clinton emails found on Anthony Weiner's laptop, this is back in September, October of 16. He went to his boss, the ASAC, the next boss up, and everybody was saying, "Oh, just leave it go, leave it go." In fact, he delete that stuff. He said, "No, I'm not doing it." He insisted, and he's the one that kind of forced, if not directly, indirectly, Comey's hand, where Comey had to come out and say, "Yeah, we found these hundreds of thousands of new emails, and we're going to research them here and see what happens." And we all remember that press conference he held.
Yeah.
And then we also have an agent out of the Washington field office named William Barnett, who was interviewed, and he said, "Look, I'm convinced in the Mueller task force, the attitude was get Trump. That was their goal." He also opined that the Flynn case should have been shut down well before it went to any secondary or tertiary level. And the fact that he and his colleagues all talked about, for the sole reason being on the Mueller task force, they thought they should get some kind of liability insurance.
Right.
And I can only imagine that phone call to some insurance company. They're talking, "Yeah, we cover bureau car accidents, no problem. Bad shooting, no problem. Bad arrest, yeah, no problem. Wait a minute, you want insurance for the attempted coup of a U.S. president?
Sedition
we don't
insurance.
quite cover that.
Yeah, you don't have sedition insurance?
And
Yeah,
insurance.
right.
Yeah, it's going to be a $10 million, deductible, and then we'll talk after that. So,
no, your point.
So these are 2 guys, Robertson and Barnett, 2 good agents. Regular street agents, they're the ones that should have been running this investigation all along. Obviously, 1 or 2 layers of supervision up, not out of headquarters. Any investigation run out of headquarters, I won't say it's always a criminal issue, but it's the people that make it that high in the Bureau are usually not the best investigators. They may be good managers, or they may not be good managers, but for whatever reason, they make it there, and they're not the ones who should be handling investigations. And again, kudos to Robertson and Barnett. They're just representative of many, many men and women, agents, analysts, et cetera, in the FBI doing the right thing and are so upset about this clown convention show that's running downhill.
Yeah, no, your point about the rank and file is well taken. I do appreciate that. James Fitzgerald is retired FBI agent and criminal profiler of Unabomber fame, author of the series of books, A Journey to the Center of the Mind. And again, if you haven't checked out that Netflix series, need something new to binge watch, Manhunt, which profiles James Fitzgerald and the whole team that brought the Unabomber to justice. James Fitzgerald, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, guys.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Presenting a good appearance is everything, a direct reflection of your business. But now you also need to ensure your employees and customers that you're providing a safe environment in which to work and do business. To keep and stay clean, team up with High PSI, Chicago's leading source on industrial cleaning equipment, accessories, and service. High PSI sells clean with the biggest selection and highest quality of industrial cleaning and pressure washing equipment in the Midwest. And now selling Vital Oxide, a hospital-grade, safe EPA-registered disinfectant cleaner. This product can be applied with a spray, wipe, mister, or electrostatic foggers that actually wrap surfaces with disinfectants or sanitizers. Vital Oxide kills MERS, SARS, flu, and COVID. High PSI for industrial cleaning solutions. Keep your business clean with accessories and supplies, repair service, and rentals. Call now, 630-893-0777 or highpsi.com. High PSI, they sell clean.
After 25 years of building websites